Unexpected disappearances. Mary Celeste. A ship adrift in the vast Atlantic Ocean. No signs of struggle, no distress call, and not a single soul on board. This is considered by many to be the most baffling maritime mysteries in history. On November 7, 1872, the Mary Celeste, a merchant brigantine, set sail from New York. Her destination? Genoa, Italy. On board were Captain Benjamin Briggs, his wife Sarah, their young daughter Sophia, and 7 experienced crew members. The cargo? Over 1,700 barrels of industrial alcohol. Almost a month later, on December 5th, the Mary Celeste was spotted drifting aimlessly near the Azores Islands by a British ship, the De Gratia. Her sails were partially set, her hull was intact, but there was no sign of life. The lifeboat was missing. But the crew's belongings, food supplies and cargo, apart from 9 barrels, were untouched. The ship's logbook hadn't been updated in over a week. Everything seemed normal except everyone was gone. The Mary Celeste was taken to Gibraltar, where an official investigation underwent, but no foul play could be proven. The De Gratia crew, though briefly suspected, were cleared. In the end, the case was closed, with no answers. So what really happened? Over the years, many theories have emerged. Some suggest a sudden seaquake or waterspout scared the crew into abandoning the ship. Others blame pirates or mutiny, but there was no damage or bloodshed. The most widely accepted theory? Alcohol fumes. Some of the barrels were found empty, possibly due to leakage. If explosive vapors built up, the crew may have feared an imminent explosion and evacuated, intending to return. But bad weather or miscalculation may have sealed their fate. The Sodder Children. On Christmas Eve, 1945, a house in West Virginia went up in flames. Inside were 10 members of the Sodder family, but when the fire was extinguished, only 5 of them were ever found. The other 5 children, gone. No remains, no bodies, just vanished. The truth is, no one really knows, though many people have wondered if they were kidnapped. Did they die in the fire, or was something far more sinister at play? This is the chilling mystery of the Sodder children. The Sodder family lived in Fayetteville, West Virginia. George and Jenny Sodder, and their 10 children. George was a proud Italian immigrant, well known in the community, but not everyone liked him. He had strong political opinions, especially about Mussolini, and those views earned him enemies, particularly in the tight-knit Italian-American community. On December 24, 1945, the family gathered for Christmas Eve. 10 of them were home. The older boys had already gone to bed. 5 of the younger children, Maurice, Martha, Louis, Jenny, and Betty, asked if they could stay up a little later to play with toys. Their mother, Jenny, said yes, as long as they turned off the lights and locked up. That was the last time she saw them. Around 1 a.m., Jenny was woken up by the phone ringing. A strange woman's voice asked for someone who didn't live there, laughed oddly, and hung up. Moments later, she heard a loud thud on the roof. Then, smoke, fire. The house was in flames. George, Jenny, and 4 of the children escaped. But the 5 youngest, who'd been sleeping upstairs, were nowhere to be found. George tried everything to save them. He broke windows, slicing his arm. He tried climbing the wall. He even attempted to drive his trucks, which he used for work, up to the window to climb in. But oddly, both trucks wouldn't start, even though they had worked perfectly the day before. By the time the fire department arrived, 7 hours later, the home had collapsed into ashes. The fire chief told them no bones were found. Nothing remained of the 5 children. They had perished, burned away entirely. But Jenny didn't believe it, and honestly, she had reason not to. She later conducted her own experiment. She burned animal bones in a fire of similar intensity, and every time, the bones remained. So why weren't there any bones in the house? Then the sightings began. A bus driver claimed he saw balls of fire being thrown onto the roof that night. A woman working at a diner claimed she saw 4 of the children with 2 adults the next morning. Another witness said they saw the children in the back of a car driving away on Christmas morning. The family even received a bizarre photo in the mail decades later of a man who looked just like Louis Sauter, one of the missing boys, now fully grown. So what happened? The fire theory doesn't hold. A 45-minute house fire can't destroy 5 bodies so completely that nothing remains. A planned abduction? The phone call, the dead trucks, the thud on the roof, all suggest premeditation. Mafia revenge? George's anti-Mussolini stance made him enemies. Some believe this was a targeted message, or worse, a kidnapping with long-term leverage. George and Jenny never stopped searching. They put up a giant billboard on Route 16, offering a reward. It stayed up for over 40 years. They followed every lead, hired private detectives, but nothing ever came of it. George died in 1969, Jenny in 1989. The case? Still cold. A Boeing 777 carrying 239 people takes off into a clear night sky. Minutes later, it vanishes from radar. Without a trace. No distress call, no debris, nothing. Just silence. It's been over a decade, and we still don't know where it went or why. This is the disappearance of Malaysia Airlines flight MH370, one of the greatest aviation mysteries of all time. On March 8, 2014, Malaysia Airlines Flight 370 took off from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, headed for Beijing, China. The flight was operated by a Boeing 777, one of the safest planes in the sky. On board were 227 passengers and 12 crew. Everything seemed normal. Weather conditions, clear. Takeoff, smooth. The captain, Zahari Ahmad Shah, was experienced and well-respected. At 1:19 a.m., the last radio communication was made. It was calm. The pilot simply said, "Good night, Malaysian 370. 2 minutes later, the plane's transponder was turned off. And just like that, flight MH370 disappeared from radar. Initially, air traffic control thought the plane had just lost signal, but hours passed. No communication, no emergency signal, nothing. Then came the twist. Military radar picked up a shocking track. After losing contact, the plane had made a sharp left turn, flying back across the Malaysian peninsula, then out into the Indian Ocean. Not a crash, not an explosion. The plane kept flying for another 6 hours. Eventually, it disappeared from military radar too, somewhere over the southern Indian Ocean. The search was massive. Dozens of nations, satellites, deep-sea submersibles. They searched over 120,000 square kilometers of ocean. Nothing. Then, in 2015, a breakthrough. A piece of aircraft debris washed up on Réunion Island, east of Madagascar. It was confirmed to be from MH370. Over the next few years, more small fragments washed ashore on Indian Ocean islands. But the main wreckage, the black box, the truth, still missing. So what happened to flight MH370? Mechanical failure? Unlikely. The plane flew for hours after losing contact. No distress signal. No signs of malfunction. Hijacking? No group ever claimed responsibility. The passengers were vetted. No major red flags. Pilot involvement? Captain Zahari came under scrutiny. Investigators found a flight simulator in his home with a route eerily similar to the suspected crash path. Some believe it was a carefully planned, controlled flight into the ocean. As of today, MH370 has never been found. It's as if it was swallowed by the ocean. In 2018, the official investigation ended with a chilling conclusion. The aircraft's disappearance cannot be determined with certainty. Families still wait for answers. Theories still swirl. The ocean keeps its secrets. So, what do you think happened to Malaysia Airlines Flight 370? A pilot's last decision? A systems failure at 38,000 feet? Or something the world was never meant to know? Drop your theory in the comments. And if you love unraveling real-life mysteries, it would be appreciated if you hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe.